Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Terrain School. We took a week off for Thanksgiving, but I'm back with another quick tutorial on how to do snow effects on a pre-built MDF kit. We're going to keep this one pretty simple this time. The idea behind this tutorial is you've already got a collection of pre-assembled, pre-finished kits, and you want to add some snow to them for maybe a game like Frostgrave or Mordheim or things like that. These techniques could really easily be applied to any other type of kit, but I picked one of our fantasy buildings because I think it would probably look the coolest. Before we start adding any snow or any winter type effects, we're going to go around and start with some weathering. This is a technique I use on almost every kit tutorial that I do, and it just starts with some basic black primer in an airbrush, and we're going to go around and add some streaking, add some scorch marks to the broken wall sections, and just generally add some more shading and dimension to the kit. This is a really easy, simple technique to use, and it really doesn't involve a lot of planning or pre-thought, and it really makes these kits pop. After finishing the black shading, I'm going to go around with some straight white primer now. The idea behind this step is to just dust the white along the bottom edges of the walls, anywhere that the walls will meet the ground, essentially. And this is a really good step to do before you add any snow effects or rubble or anything like that, because it helps to kind of sell the effect once we place the actual snow effects on later. I've seen some people just straight airbrush white onto kits to kind of add this frosted, frozen look without bothering to do any complicated snow effects, and this is also completely acceptable. Alright, now it's time to add some rubble. I took some rocks from an aquarium and some 2mm static grass. Pretty much even mixture. I mixed in some glue and water, and then we added some Vallejo dirt paste. This is just a very simple, quick rubble mixture that I spread around on the base of this building. You can also add some other details if you want to break up some balsa wood or some pieces of plaster, some MDF offcuts, anything really that you want. But mix it into a paste. Just spread it evenly around on the base of the building. You can be as heavy-handed or as light as you want. If you notice, I sort of favored the two edges where the walls are to kind of sell the effect that this is like a ruined, broken building. And once you put this down, put it in front of a fan to dry, and then we'll look at moving on to adding some snow. This is pretty much my default go-to snow effect. I always take equal parts water and white glue, just straight all-purpose white glue. And then I like the Woodland Scenic snow effect. I've used this countless times on a whole bunch of different projects. I've never had problems with it yellowing or not sticking properly or causing me any issues. Mix it all together into a paste, and if you mix it vigorously, sometimes it'll aerate a little bit, and that can help kind of fluff it up and make the snow look extra pretty. Now, I'm not an expert on what snow looks like by any means, but I usually just go around and do whatever looks coolest. I really like to place it along some of the edges of buildings, where anywhere that snow may accumulate or catch, I think it kind of adds a cool little effect. And don't be afraid to put it on pretty thick as well. This paste is quite lightweight, and once the glue dries, you shouldn't have any problems with it being durable enough for gaming. You can always add more glue if you're worried about that. Really, we're just going to go around and put this paste anywhere we want to add some snow. As you can see, as I'm going around putting this paste on the base here, I'm feathering it out with my brush. Now, make sure you use a disposable brush because this will destroy the brush. But it has a really neat effect where it looks like the snow is thawing out, and it's kind of like that snow icy slush effect that you see on the ground. You mix it in with the rubble and you get sort of like the snow mud mixture as well, and it kind of really helps to sell it as a bit more of an authentic look. Don't be afraid to go around and add it on the floors and any of the edges that you want to catch with the snow. Really, anywhere you want to put it. This paste should be thick enough to hold a shape on its own, and you can kind of play with that, create some really neat effects. And that's the base of the snow done. Pretty simple, right? You could obviously stop here and it would be perfectly fine to just set aside and dry and then use it in your next game. What we're going to do is we're actually going to go a couple of steps further, and we're going to add some nice snowy looking static grass tufts. These will be available through our web store soon, so keep your eye out. And I'm just going to go around and put those in a few different places, put on some white glue, and then just stuck them straight to the base. This step is by all means not necessary, you can skip this. I'm going to add some icicles using some clear silicone cork. I had Connor just run down to Home Depot and grab me whatever the cheapest brand of cork was. I'm going to just go around and use it straight out of the bottle. You may want to test on a little test building or a test piece first, because sometimes it can be a little tricky to get the effect right. The way that I've found the easiest is just squeeze some out, it'll stick to the building, and then sort of work it in and then draw it down really quickly, and you'll get a nice little icicle effect. You could also use a hot glue gun for this as well if you wanted a less transparent and frost look. I think I've tried that in the past and it looks pretty cool. We're going to go around on some of the edges. We're going to do some pretty big icicles just because I think it looks really cool, and also I want this to look as frozen and frost covered as possible. The last step is I actually decided to sprinkle some extra snow along the base, just to make a bit of extra coverage. I went straight in with the Woodland Scenic Snow, and then I sprayed it down with some glue, water, and dish soap mixture. And we're done for another week. We've finished another terrain piece. Thanks so much for joining me for this episode of Terrain School. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you drop a comment down below and let me know what you want to see next. I have a ton of ideas, but it really helps if you guys let me know what you maybe want to see. As always, make sure you like and subscribe. It really does help us out. And until next week, thanks for watching.